Hey, it's your girl Misha. Thank you for joining me for another chat. So, today we're going to talk about fear. A lot of us walking around with a lot of things stuck in our gut, in our chest, and we smile like it's nothing wrong. Whole time, it's something heavy on your shoulders. You fearing something, you like anticipating the worst of something, and it's making you have bad days. It's affecting how you move day to day. It's affecting your energy because you got it at like the forefront of your mind. So I could speak on this because I've had many days like this in the past where I used to go to work. Hell, I used to record videos on YouTube because I used to do makeup content, and I used to get up and record, go to work, smile on my face, uplifting everybody around me. Whole time, my bill's about to be cut off. I'm going through, heartache and mourning and loss. I'm going through depression. I used to go through so many ups and downs and still, show up with a smile on my face and go to work and, rise to the occasion. And the people around me would never even know. Um, the only thing I would say, like I used to use work as a scapegoat, like a escapism. I'll call it that because immediately you have to turn on. So you can drop all of your worries at the door and you go clock in and you just, perform. Well, I used to perform, to my best of my abilities and not even be worried about my personal issues. But as the time gets closer to me about to get off, here come those memories, here come them thoughts, here come them worries, things that, bills are due. Looking at the bank account is the money. The money's not money in time, and you're doing all of this work. You missing time with your kids. You're not able to get full night's sleep. It's just a lot. You're not eating right, but you still not meeting the demand of the financial obligations, and it's even worse when you have kids depending on you because you really have to like show up and smile and just be that parent where they can't feel the intensity of the energy that's going on inside of you, the nerves, the sadness, um but what I've learned is you got to shift. It happens from the inside. The moment you start affirming best, like the best scenarios over your life instead of like looking at what the current circumstance is, things start really moving. Things really start moving. It's just out the blue. I used to get so many just unexpected blessings and opportunities when I decide to shift and stop being depressed. Like looking at the situation. So, for example, say it's a bill, and I'm looking at that bill, I'm looking at the due date, and as these 24 hours come and go, we're getting closer to the due date. And the old me would get in the shower and just cry and be like, why me? Blah, 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 blah. Right? I used to do that. And it wouldn't make the situation better. I still had to get up, go to work, and hope that something would happen. So when I started, pulling my Bible out because, I was raised in the church, even though my grandmother passed away when I was 12. And so it kind of like it diluted my connection to a church home. And so I started going with friends and things like that. But I never got, church out of my life, but it wasn't as heavy as it was from birth to, 12 years old when my grandmother was alive. And so I reverted back to that. And my mother, my late mother, bless her soul, she was always, heavy in her faith. And so I never steered far from God or Jesus. I just didn't know at the time to use it. Like a lot of us, we be trying to self effort, trying to make something happen on our own. Whole time we drowning. It's like being in like sink, what is it called? Sinking sand, quicksand. That's what it's called. It's like being in quicksand and steady trying to get up out of it, and you steady going down, down. There's nothing happening, and that's life when you don't use God. period. When you don't go to God first for your issues and you don't put your problems on the Lord and you try to hold all that yourself, you're physically gonna like crash out eventually. It's either gonna be health wise or you might have a mental break. Something is going to happen if you don't find the release and get this pressure off of you. So I started turning back to the word, and listening to sermons, and I started reading my Bible. I started writing down, Bible verses that was, making me feel good about my situation. And then I started shifting. My energy started shifting. I'm getting up with a different energy, with more like optimism was being placed in my spirit little bit by little bit. So instead of worrying about like how it's gonna get done, I'm just like, Lord, I know you're gonna make something happen. I started changing the way I talk to myself. Like, oh, how I'm gonna do it. Wake up every morning like, Lord, how am I gonna get? And then it went from being how I'm gonna do it to Lord, I know you got it. Lord, I know you're going to take care of it. And it shifts the energy. It takes it off of me. And I'm going to request The Secret of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel. That is a great quick read that will help you always remember to give your burdens, cast your burdens to Jesus, and you move in peace. That is one of the quotes in the book. And when I start casting my worries onto Jesus and moving in peace, things start moving in my favor. Those obstacles that felt like concrete, cement boulders, they were like feathers, light as a feather, because I wasn't carrying the boulders anymore. I wasn't trying to move them out my way anymore. I was placing them to God and giving them to God, and I was going on with my day. And that was making me better as a person, better, able to move throughout life, even though shit was crumbling. I had a different outlook on it. So it wasn't totally affecting me. Um, and then once things would come, I would be just like in awe, in amazement, because God is so, it's just the way things come in, you wouldn't even think. It's like I don't think like us. God makes things, it'll put a situation together that you would have never thought. And it'll just play out in your favor and you're just like in awe. And I've had people close to me be shocked. Like out the blue, I get some really good blessings. God has always looked out for me. When I look back, God has always came through. And he uses people, and he'll use the people you least expect it will come out the blue. And it's spoken of in that book. The book speaks on this lady. She had a bill had to be due. I think it was like 3,000 or something like that. She needed it like the next week, and she didn't have no money. She like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. And so she went to Florence, and she asked her, to do a prayer and to speak over her situation. And so she did it the first time. And then she told her, I need you to go out and act like you have this money already. I don't need you to be, when you go out to eat, I need you to order with no problem. Don't look at the price. I need you to order. I need you to act as if you already have the money, not like you are in desperate need. And so I think they had went to lunch. So they did that. And then she went home. The lady went home and she called her back because it was getting close and the lady's nerves was like really bothering her. And she was like, no, I'm not going to, she's like, I want you to come with me, come meet with me. She wanted her energy again. And she was like, no, you got this. I need you to focus, basically telling her to do what I told you to do. And then out the blue, the lady called her and said a old distant cousin popped up out the blue. She said she almost missed his visit. And then her maid called him at the needed time, at the right time. So he turned around. And, out of the blue, he said, you okay? You need something? You need anything? And she told him her problem. And he was like, okay, I'll make sure you get it on the first. And so her problem was she needed the money that upcoming Monday. And so she didn't say nothing to him. She just was like, okay, thank you or whatnot. But then she contacted Florence and she told her. And I think she told her, I got to go back and read it. And so she told her just to continue the treatment. The treatment meaning speak life, act as if, don't worry about it. And the next thing you know, the cousin end up either calling or coming by early and giving it to us. Say, you know what? Matter of fact, you can get it now, or go by my office or something like that. But she ended up getting the money out the blue in the needed time. And that's because she started casting her worries on to Jesus and going on and be free and acting as if it is already taken care of. And things start moving out the way and maneuvering and like water just moving around, making its way to her. And that is what happens when you start shifting your vibration. I've had that happen to me multiple times. While I'm in my funk, nothing happens. I'm in a ball of depression. I'm in a ball of how I'm gonna do it, how I'm gonna do it. Oh my God. The moment I come out of that and I start being optimistic, I start, journaling, making a solution, how I'm gonna do this and do that. In a good way though. Like journaling what I'm gonna do once it's already pays. That type of thing, changing my mind frame on how I even spoke about the issues, and then things would start popping up, showing up in my life to take care of that issue. And so I am real proof that this does work. You have to shift your mindset. You shift your mindset, it shifts your frequency, it shifts your energy, and it stabilizes your nervous system. All the nerves that's going on in your stomach, the stomach issues, maybe you got like digestive issues. I'm telling you, or you got a ulcer. I'm saying it wrong. Or maybe you have an ulcer or something like that, or just what I used to deal with, or I still deal with from time to time, is the nerves in the gut. That's the anxiety. That's how I know when I'm having anxiety. Like the Mercury, I have a Virgo moon, so my nerves hit me in my stomach. They go crazy, and so once I start releasing how I looked at, the obstacles, and start giving it to God and remembering to do that, because you can fall victim of going back to the old way of thinking real quick, because life will happen so quick and you'll forget that quick. Like you be like, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do, until you have to go sit down. Be still and know that He is God for real. Once you sit down and be still and stop worrying about how I'm gonna do it, how I'm gonna do it, oh my God, why this, and then you calm your mind, you will just start getting the downloads you need. You'll start getting whatever it is you need. The next move will be given to you, period. So if you feeling like, you got a lot on your shoulders, I have these cards and they are called Bread of Life. It is a bunch of little cards that I am going to, that have different Bible verses, one on each side. So I just want to, pull one or two for you guys to give you a word of God to ease your stress, to take the burdens off of you, and it's to reassure you that you are not alone. You got angels looking out for you, you got ancestors looking out for you. And although you think you may have this problem and you got to deal with it on your own, that you're not. There's an invisible force, several, that are fighting your battles for you in the unseen. And so you got to release that to them. Give it to them. Release it and start putting your focus on something else. Like if you have a project that you want to work on that makes you happy, I don't care if it's coloring in the coloring book. Release your problems to your angels, to God, and to Jesus, and then you go color in the coloring book, honey. And you don't worry about that issue because that issue is handled. So I'm gonna pull. Okay, we got here. We have Romans 11, 8 and 28. I'm gonna say that again. Romans 8:28. We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. Again, we know that in all things God works for the good for those who love Him. On the back, we have John 8 and 12. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Ooh, again, whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. So there's your two verses. Write them down, read them to yourself. You know, be reminded that you are never alone. You don't have to walk in darkness. Yet God is the light. So you turn to God every time. You're going to be good. He is the light of your life, my life, our life, because we follow Him. We believe in Him. Most High, Mother, Father, Universe, Gaia, whatever you call the Creator, that is the God we speaking of. The God I'm speaking of, the Most High, the Creator of all. And you never are going to have to walk in darkness when you believe and walk with the Most High. And just know that Most High is working for your good. Everything is working out for your good. Just take your burdens and cast them over there to Him. And watch how things start popping up and changing in your life. Watch how this stress moment becomes a past moment, a memory, a testimony. Mark my words. So I hope this, uplifted your spirits, gave you a better outlook on your situation. And I will see you in my next video. Please hit the like button and the subscribe, join the channel, and I'll see you next time. Peace, love, and happiness.